Welcome to another edition of the McEnulty Method, where financial expert Frank McEnulty is going to share his knowledge and insights with us to help us take another step down the road toward financial freedom. Frank, good to see you.
Bill, good to be seen again. I feel like, with our last episode, we sort of left people hanging. We showed them, hey, you save this money, you're gonna be rich. But we didn't tell them where or how.
I was thinking that same thing after we shut it down last time. It's like, okay, you can be a millionaire, but yeah, how exactly do you do it? I know you did talk about some different funds to invest in and how to do it, but walk us through it.
Well, it's confusing, and I think that's what makes people put it off. They're scared. It's this Wall Street thing, or these investments, they go up, they go down. I don't want to lose my money. When the fact of the matter is, every day they have their money sitting in a bank, they're losing money because inflation's higher than what the bank's paying them. So over time, they lose money. Now, but it's safe. They know what the number is at the end of the day. They can go on the bank and say, oh, look, it went up by a penny today, but it went up. That's the key.
Well, if we wanted to go up a little bit more, but you still want something that's kind of safe, where do we go?
Well, if you're doing it yourself, it's gotten cheaper and cheaper and safer for the small investor. Vanguard is a very large mutual fund company, and they built their reputation on having very low cost funds. I mentioned earlier about buying the Standard & Poor ETF as an example of just investing in the market, hoping for the 10% annual return that the market gets over time. What you don't want to do is invest in a fund where they're going to take a lot of that return for their costs. Because let's face it, whatever you invest in, unless you buy individual stocks, if it's any sort of fund, somebody's got to manage that fund. So somebody's making money off that fund. And so you want to make sure they're not making more money than you are, or they're not taking an unfair share of what you have in the fund.
How do you do that?
Well, like I said, you can go with the big companies that are safe, like Vanguard. You can also look on the internet, say, I want a low cost ETF for the stock market. And the internet will come up with all sorts of things and tell you.
Before you go on, tell me again what an ETF is.
It's an exchange traded fund. You're basically, depending on what it's following. So if it's a Standard & Poor 500 exchange traded fund, you can put $100 into that fund, and you're in essence buying $100 worth of the 500 stocks in the S&P 500.
All right.
Rather than having to have $500,000 where you'll put $1,000 in each stock, this allows the small investor to just buy the market. And you can get exchange traded funds for practically anything these days. For dividend aristocrats, which is another interesting group of stocks. For if you only like energy stocks, if you only like entertainment stocks, you can buy these things. But once again, for the new investor, trying to keep it simple, let's buy the market.
As you told us last time, that for the last 100 years, the market always goes up.
In the long run, not every day, as the last 2 days have shown us. But over the last year, it's gone up. Okay, over the last year and a half, it went way down. Now it's gone way up. Over the last 10 years, it's gone up, but just before that, it was down. So yes, it will go down. Where people get really hurt is when they, especially if you're young, and they panic and say, oh, it keeps going down. I have to sell, I have to sell, I have to sell. And by the time they get around to actually doing it, they sell at the bottom and then they buy back later. But that's, I think I'm getting a little far afield here from where we wanted to go. So so how do you save? You're not saving if you don't have a job. So we're going to assume everybody has a job.
All right.
And we want to save for the future. We don't want to pay taxes on if we make anything on these savings, because that gives us more money to earn interest on or earn a return on. So
okay, well, how do we do that? How do we save this money or invest it or whatever and not have to pay taxes on it?
Well, it used to be people didn't have to worry about this much because companies had pension plans for them.
Mhm.
Those have sort of gone away. But in their place, companies have put in these things called 401ks. And the 401k just stands for the part of the tax code that authorize these. So that's just its name. We can call them Bob, but they're called a 401k. And it allows you to put money away every month out of your paycheck before you pay taxes.
Oh,
So let's say you're making $6,000 a month and you have to pay taxes on that income and everything else. Okay, so you net, let's say you're paying 20% tax, you're going to net a certain amount of money. With a 401k, you can now pay that money into the savings account before you pay taxes. So you don't pay tax on that money.
okay. So okay, say you're getting the $6,000. I'm making $6,000. If I decide to put 500 of that into my 401k every month, does that mean I'm only paying taxes on 5,500?
Exactly. So the government's helping you save. You're not having to pay taxes and then save the money.
Oh, that's excellent.
And even better, with most 401k plans, there's an employer match. So say the employer match is 2%. Doesn't sound like a lot of money, but every $500 you put away, the employer is going to match. They're going to give you an extra $10, 2% of that. Yeah, it's free money. You're now saving $510 a month. You're not saving 500. So why not do it? And
Yeah.
really, I just misspoke, because they're not matched 2% of your $500. They'll match 2% of your salary. So they're going to match 2% of your 6,000 every month. So the first $120 you put away, they're going to match. So now you've just got an extra $120 a month.
Wow.
And so rule number one, if you work for an employer with a 401k and they have a match 100% of that money.
Okay, so they say we'll match 3%. You make sure that you're at least putting that much in so that
Right.
you get.
Because you're instantly doubling your money. So say, you just don't believe you can save 500 a month. You can save 120. Well, that means you're putting away $240 a month because your employer's matching it. There's
Darn decent of them.
it's free money. And we all love free money.
Yes, we do.
And the other types of tax deferred accounts, as they call these, because you don't pay any taxes on that money until you take it out as income. And then it's taxed as income. And the logic has always been that when you retire and you start drawing on this, you're not going to be earning as much money. So your tax rate's going to go down.
Mhm.
Will that be the case? Well, we don't know. So, but still, you're saving tax-free, you're investing tax-free, you're earning tax-free. And the same goes with a regular IRA, individual retirement account. You can put away a certain amount of money each year of your earnings, and you get that deducted from your income when you file your tax return.
Huh.
So another way to save taxes and save money. But a few years ago, they invented this thing called the Roth IRA.
Okay, so
With the Roth
what's the
IRA,
difference?
you put away the money, you don't get a tax benefit when you put the money away. If you're young and you're not paying that much in taxes, that's probably not that painful. But when you take the money out in 40 years, when it's gone from, $1,000 a month to $6 million, according to the rules, you don't have to pay income on that money. It's all tax-free to you as you take it out. Now, I know there are some people out there that are worried that it's going to go away, that they'll take that benefit away. And it's possible they might, but still, it helps you save the money tax-free.
Well, I would say if you want to do that, if you're worried about it going away, do it now and get grandfathered in.
Exactly. If they do take it away, then they'll make more work for accountants, because they'll say, okay, your balance as of this date, the old rules apply. Now the new rules will apply. So you're absolutely right. Once again, do as much as you can as early as you can. And so, those are the good retirement accounts for an individual. There's other ones if you're self-employed and that, but if you get to that point in life, you can talk to your accountant. They'll help you set it up where you can start to put away big sums of money every year.
Wow.
But,
okay.
But even so, it's so easy now to open an account, say at Schwab, to buy their funds, or Vanguard. I keep talking about Vanguard because they're low cost. You can do it online. You can have payroll deductions go directly into the account. Remember, if you don't feel it, it doesn't hurt when it's not there.
Boy, that's the truth. And yeah, and if you would sign up and get a certain amount taken out every paycheck, that is that you told me one time, set it and forget it. It just grows by itself.
And that also helps with, you're worried about the market going down. No one's worried about it going up, but you're worried about the market going down. Okay. If you have my luck and you'd save a bunch of money in the bank and you stick it in the market would go down the next day. But even if you have a lump sum of money you have, people say, and it makes sense, you should put it in over time. Put it in the same amount every month, every week, whatever you want to do. That way, rather than putting all the money in Monday when the market was up high, you'd put some in Monday, you'd put some in today when it's down. And so it averages out over time. It's very, very hard to time the market.
It seems like it has a mind of its own. So
It
yeah,
does.
that's a good tip. Because like you said, if you put it in over time, whether it's every week or every month or whatever you're doing, then you are going to hit days when the market's high and you're not getting as much for your money, but also days when it's low and you can get a lot more for your money.
Right. It's all in the number of shares. And once again, it's all about being consistent and putting it in regularly, month after month, year after year, and you'll be very happy in the end.
All right. I like, so we'll be consistent, keep putting that money in all the time and let it sit there for the 20, 30, 40 years and go home a millionaire or a 6 millionaire.
And I know this doesn't sound very exciting to some people. They're, well, you know, people are out there buying Bitcoin and they're making lots of money and doing this and doing that. Great. Do that. Take 90% of your money that you're going to save and put it in the boring stuff. Be boring. You don't want to lose that money. Just let it grow nice and easy. Take 10% of your money and buy Bitcoin or Doggy Coin or Dogecoin. No one even knows how to pronounce the coin, but yet it's worth billions of dollars. And have some fun. You might get lucky, you might not, but if it's only with 10%, it's not going to be irreversible damage. And yes, you know, we all know somebody who put a bunch of money in Bitcoin a 3 years ago, and they've made $1 million. I know 2 people that have done that. I didn't understand it, so I just couldn't do it. It just didn't make sense to me. But maybe I should have taken 10% of what I had and put it in there, and I'd be grinning a little more today. But on the other hand, the other accounts have just gone up. And so that's the key. It's, you know, we don't want to go back to, you know, Aesop's fables and the tortoise and the hare. But when it comes to investing, it really is true. When you have enough time, slow and steady wins the race.
All right.
Jumping in and out rarely gets you ahead of somebody else.
Well, you know what? That makes perfect sense to me. And again, especially for our viewer, if you saw the episode before this one, those charts, it was very impressive that watching that money grow over time and suddenly you're a multimillionaire. Frank, I think this might be a good place to stop for today. And I guess we'll be back next time for some more practical tips on how we can all save a lot more money.
Sounds great, Bill. We will see you later.
All right.
Bye.